Today, we're talking about AI prompt engineering for beginners. The reason some people get incredible results with AI and others feel like they're going nowhere is because of their prompt writing skills. That's right, prompting is a skill. You might have a great use case for AI, but how do you actually write a prompt that gets your favorite AI tool to do what you need it to do? This is an art as much as it's a science. And it's one of the hardest things to learn when you're still new to AI. But the good news is there is a right answer. I've picked up countless tips from AI experts and practiced with hundreds of my own prompts over the last couple years. Now I have a proven 5-step framework for how to write killer prompts that get great results from AI on everything from writing to image generation to coding. And in this video, I'm gonna break it all down. By the way, I'm Daniel Thrasher, Senior Content Manager here at ClickBank. I use AI every day to help me create content that reaches thousands of people, even the video you're watching right now. So you know that this method works. All right, let's dive in. So what is AI prompting? Basically, it's communicating with a large language model, LLM, or generative AI tool to get it to do something. Prompt engineering is simply coming up with the most effective prompts so you can get the ideal results or output from your favorite AI tool. For example, you can have AI summarize a document for you, or generate a cool image, or even code out a landing page. The possibilities are nearly endless. But first, what do you need to know about AI right off the bat? Well, my favorite way of describing AI is as a smart intern. It's ready to help you for way too little pay, of course, but it's not necessarily experienced in your specific task. So you need to give it detailed instructions on what you're looking for if you want it to do the best job. What you may not realize is just how revolutionary it is for you to be able to communicate with AI in the same way you naturally type or speak. For as long as computers have been around, that was not the case. From the days of machine language where engineers had to write in ones and zeros, we fast forward to today where LLMs and AI tools make it so you don't even need to know the syntax of a programming language to communicate with the computer. There is a ton going on under the hood with an LLM, but you're able to speak or type naturally with a generative AI tool and just tell it what you want it to do. That's fantastic and opens up a ton of functionality that would otherwise be reserved only for programmers and developers. But if you do have a background in computer science or coding, you'll be glad to know it won't go to waste because AI is still a computer at heart. That means when you prompt AI, you'll want to provide it with detailed, logical instructions, even if you need fewer brackets and semicolons to deliver your message than you used to. That's the engineering piece of the AI puzzle. Now, before we dive into the killer 5-step framework for prompt engineering with AI, I want to share the most important rule for working with AI. Be clear and specific. All of the steps I'm going to share with you center around providing AI as much detail about your desired output as possible. Now, let's get into the framework. Step 0, choose your AI model. What? Step 0? Yep, I thought I should at least mention the importance of choosing the right AI chatbot for the job. In some ways, the step 0 of deciding which AI model to use is both the least important and most important step for AI prompting. For example, until recently, I would not have recommended ChatGPT as a very good tool for generating images, but now you can get away with a so-so prompt and still get excellent images in that tool. And the same logic extends to whichever tool I most prefer for writing, which is Claude, research, Perplexity, or short-term video generation with ClickBank's AI content tool, Ember AI. That's the power of finding the right model for your use case. With all that said, the 5 steps apply to basically any AI chatbot tool, so whatever AI tool you use should be fine as you develop your prompting skills. However, if you're still new and you just want to know which tool can be a solid general purpose tool for you, I would recommend the free or plus version of ChatGPT. Step 1, define your goal. Okay, so the first step of AI prompt engineering is the following: defining your goal. We all know what goal setting is in general, but it's particularly important when you're delegating a task to AI. That's because even if it sometimes seems like it, AI is not a mind reader. Knowledgeable humans can usually get the gist of what you want when you give them instructions, or at least know when to ask follow-up questions. But with AI, the more clarity you can give on what you're trying to accomplish, the better. AI will do its best to fill in the gaps in your prompt, sometimes literally, but nothing is more important than knowing what you want in the first place. So if you're not sure how to decide on a goal, I would recommend the following. First, pick a task in your daily workflow that's repetitive, tedious, error-prone, or just a little bit soul-sucking. Then make that the goal you want an AI tool to assist you with. It could be writing a cold outbound email template for your sales team, or generating images to accompany your posts on social media. A word of wisdom on this step: start small. I'm talking about replacing one simple task and proving that it works before you try to do the next thing. Eventually, you may want to scale AI across your entire personal workflow, or across your team, or even your organization, but you need to make sure it's working on a small scale for a simple goal before you can implement anything across the board. In this video, I'm going to pick an example to walk through with you. Simple goal: Summarize a PDF document for research on my big new video script that I'm writing for ClickBank's YouTube channel. Step 2, assign AI a role. If you remember that most LLMs are trained on basically the entire internet, which is trillions of data points, then you'll understand why assigning AI a role is so powerful. Basically, you're telling the AI tool to ignore all of the irrelevant information in its head and focus on a specific goal and function. Again, if you treat your AI tool like a smart intern who does whatever you need done around the office, does it make sense to give them an assignment without telling them what hat they should have on? Here's an example. If I tell ChatGPT to summarize a document without assigning it a role first, it'll certainly do that, but is that summary gonna be the most relevant to me? On the other hand, if I tell ChatGPT that it's a world-class market research analyst and then ask it to summarize a document, this crystallizes what the AI tool is doing and almost more importantly, what it's not doing. Suddenly, the same task is a lot more relevant to my use case and the results will be better. But assigning a role is only the start. Let's talk about context next. Step 3, provide context. Context is the information you provide AI to help it understand what you're asking for. Think of context as setting the stage. You're giving it the who, what, where, and why behind your request. Let's go back to that summarizing a PDF example. If I just paste in some content and prompt the AI with summarize this, it can do a decent general job. But what if I actually provided some additional context about what I want? It's way better to say something like, you are a senior content strategist reviewing this document for key talking points to use in a YouTube video. Please summarize with that in mind. Now, AI knows why it's summarizing, who the summary is for, and how to tailor the results. You can also upload supporting files, paste examples, or explain the broader project to the AI. Anything that will help it narrow in on the context that you're operating under. Beyond that, be sure to add specific limits like length, format, tone, or style to keep the output focused and useful. It's okay to start small. Even one constraint, like word count or tone, can improve your results with AI instantly. Step 4, add constraints. Now, let's talk constraints. Adding constraints is like giving your AI tool some guardrails around your request. You're telling it things like how long the output should be, which format it should follow, what tone it should use, and most importantly, what it should not do. For example, make this sound friendly and professional, no fluff. Keep it under 300 words using Markdown. Format the response as a bulleted list. Constraints make it easier for AI to succeed, not harder. Just like a good creative brief helps a human designer or writer, the right constraints make a huge difference for AI too. It's honestly pretty similar to assigning a role to the AI. By telling it what it is, you're also telling it all the things it is not. The same works for constraints, and if you want to get even more granular with constraints, you can use something called delimiters to treat specific sections of your prompt separately. Common delimiters include triple quotes, XML tags, or JSON formatting. Now, on to the final step, iterating. Step 5, iterate on your prompt. There are all kinds of ways you can iterate and refine a prompt to get a better result. The main point I want to make here is that prompting is inherently an iterative process. That means you should never expect your first prompt to be perfect, just like you wouldn't expect to nail it on your first draft with a piece of writing. Here's what the cycle looks like. You write a prompt, AI responds, you assess the output, you adjust the prompt, and it keeps going until you get the result you want. After you've submitted a prompt and gotten a response from the AI, ask yourself a few questions. Did the AI follow your intended instructions? Did it miss something obvious? Was the response too vague or too verbose? Or in the case of something like coding, does it just not work? From there, once you've assessed your answers to those questions, it's time to go back and adjust. Here's an example. It's a good one. I once prompted ChatGPT for a short blog post draft about affiliate marketing myths using personal details about me that I gave the AI, like where I live and the fact that I'm in the field of content marketing. So in the copy, it kept bringing up these details over and over like it was trying to name drop some celebrity it knew. I mean, come on. I've heard this one more times than I've eaten fries at my favorite Boise burger joint. My only response is this emoji. Clearly, in trying to provide more context for the AI to personalize this writing output, I gave it maybe a little too much emphasis on some of these details and not enough on others. So I had to go back and tweak the context and actually add a constraint. Please include these details about me in the post if it comes up naturally, and limit it to no more than 2 times in the post. This is a perfect example of the need to iterate. I saw that the resulting output was not what I was hoping for, but that's okay. I can see what needs to change. I think for a lot of people, it's easy to assume that AI is just like a magic easy button that you press to get exactly what you want. So the idea that working with this technology would require a lot of effort or skill may be surprising, but you'll get a lot more out of AI if you think of it with the mindset that your first prompt for a given request will always have room for improvement. Instead of spending 2 hours writing some copy or code or designing an image from scratch, if it takes 15 to 20 minutes to get the right AI prompt to output what you would have had to do, then you'll still save a ton of time. So if you've ever worked with custom GPTs inside of ChatGPT, these are basically AI agents that can do a very specific thing. You may have noticed that one of the ways that you can create those custom AI agents is simply having a back and forth conversation with ChatGPT. I actually highly recommend practicing your AI prompting skills by building a custom GPT for a very specific task. And I'm talking very specific, like LinkedIn post writer or Pinterest image designer. This will get you used to the level of detail that you need to provide in your prompting to get the output you actually want. But you can also apply this approach to any general AI tool. Give it your best attempt at a prompt and then ask it or a completely different AI tool for tips on improving the prompt. I'm gonna show you a prompt I really used. Now let's run this prompt through ChatGPT and see what it recommends for improving the prompt. Okay. It suggested a lot of things that I've already talked about in this video. Things like providing more context with a concrete example, defining the exact output I'm looking for, and adding constraints or preferences. But even as someone who has awareness of these things, it can be easy for me to forget. So don't be afraid to use AI to help you improve your prompts if you feel like you're not able to iterate them to where you need them to be. Now I want to zoom out a little bit. So far, we've basically been touching on single prompts that you're iterating on, but there are actually entire schools of thought on how to approach prompt engineering in different situations. So I'm just going to cover these at a high level. There's chain of thought prompting, which is guiding the AI through reasoning steps to arrive at a valuable solution for a complex or multi-step problem. There's zero-shot prompting, which is making an ask without providing examples for the AI to work off of. And there's few-shot prompting, which is to provide examples of the desired output to help the AI learn the pattern and generate similar results. And lastly, there's prompt chaining, which is combining multiple prompts to create a more complex instruction, which allows you to achieve more sophisticated outcomes. I think it's worth experimenting with each of these high-level approaches. See if providing an example helps with your prompt. I think it often does. Or break down your prompt into a series of smaller steps or milestones so you don't overwhelm the AI with your request all at once. You should also be aware that different AI models work differently. So a prompt that works for a general AI model may not work as well for a reasoning model. Overall, the important thing is just to keep practicing and testing until you get the hang of prompting. Let me show you a few quick examples of prompt formats you can try using ClickBank's new AI tool, Ember. So our writing prompt is: you're a professional copywriter, write 300 words of copy for a Facebook ad for a particular product in a friendly, engaging tone, and make sure to consider compliance. Focus on benefits, format in Markdown. Here's an image prompt. Please generate a realistic 3D render of a protein shake exploding with flavor surrounded by tropical fruit on a clean white background with product photography style. And a research prompt. You're a market research analyst. Summarize the key trends in this report for a marketing executive. Use clear bulleted takeaways. All right, we've covered a lot. Look at how all this works in practice with one final prompt example. So you are a senior content strategist. Your task is to summarize the attached PDF to extract talking points for a YouTube video aimed at affiliate marketers. Focus on clear, engaging language. Keep the summary under 300 words. Format as a bulleted list. And there's the output. Not bad. All right, I've shared a lot of tips for AI prompt engineering with you in this video. We looked at a simple 5 or 6 step framework you can follow to level up your prompts, checked out some prompt examples, and of course got nerdy about AI concepts like few-shot prompting, which you should definitely use the next time you're hanging out with friends. If you like this video, be sure to actually try these prompts out, or at least the templates of some of these prompts, in your favorite AI tool, whether that's ChatGPT, Claude, or Ember AI. Lastly, if you are interested in an AI tool that can specifically help you promote products on ClickBank as an affiliate marketer, I definitely recommend you check out more about ClickBank's new tool, Ember AI, which we'll also link to in the description. Best of luck on your prompting journey.